I've covered this grave before, or this collection of graves. There's three here of the Bracegirdles and the Donaldsons. And I want to go back to the poem, the poignant little poem that Matthew Bracegirdle wrote in 1832 to honour his late wife, Margaret, who had died at the age of 40. And this, you can see it, it's quite well carved in the headstone. This poem, it's short but poignant. Departed shade. Thy sorrowing husband here erects this stone and drops the embittered tear. 'Tis all, alas, his grieving heart can do, yet oh, too little for a wife like you. Which is a unique little piece of poetry, and Matthew was of a very literary bent, because I was wondering about the unusual first two words, departed shade. And I've done a wee bit of research, and this actually is a reference to a Robert Burns poem, which adds another level of poignancy, because this poem was to Mary in heaven, Robert Burns's first love, Highland Mary, Mary Campbell, who lived in Greenock, not far from Glasgow. And when she died, it was a real blow to him, and he actually, I think there's 5, maybe 6 of his poems and songs are dedicated to her. And one of them, to Mary in heaven, or it's also known as Thou Lingering Star. In it he says, let me see if I can remember, O Mary, dear departed shade, where is your place of blissful rest? See you your lover lowly laid, hear you the groans that rend his breast. So this story gets more interesting. The interesting connections to our history. So those two words on that first line have led us to Scotland, to Scotland's national poet Robert Burns. But Highland Mary herself, she died young in 1786. That poem, the Burns poem, was written in 1789, and she was buried in a very historic place beside the Old West Kirk in Greenock, which was built in 1591, the first Protestant church built in Scotland after the Reformation. And she was buried there, and there's a beautiful memorial because she was famous because of the association with Robert Burns. But there was a problem, and it links to Belfast and shipbuilding. Lord Pirrie, he took over Harland and Wolff in 1895, and he didn't build just the biggest shipyard in the world, he built the biggest shipping group in the world, and he bought over half the Clyde. And there was a shipyard in Greenock called Cairds, and it was stopped from developing further because this church and the graveyard, including Highland Mary's memorial, was in the way. So when he acquired the shipyard, he had his bold plan. He offered to move the church. So he actually took down the church block by block and rebuilt it half a mile away. He moved all of the memorials as well. So that church is rebuilt at the end of the Esplanade in Greenock, and all the old memorials around it. But Highland Mary, she got special treatment. Her remains were taken up, put in an oak coffin, and her memorial was repositioned in Greenock Old Cemetery, where it remains to this day, and it's very popular with visitors as well. So it's amazing having a look at an old stone in Friars Bush, and suddenly it transports you to a world of poetry, to the Clyde, and to shipbuilding. You never know where something in one of these wee stones is going to take you, and that is one of the many joys of spending time in an old graveyard like this.